Hello, everyone. This is part 2 questionnaire from Ricky Bear, part of the contemporary Jeet Kune Do group under the progressive fighting system under Paul Vunek, who's under Dan Inosanto, who I've affiliated with both Guru Dan Inosanto and Sifu Paul Vunek for quite a number of years. In the first episode, I kind of talked briefly on the background of the Jeet Kune Do, and then I continued. Kind of part 2 would be as I continued, as if you fast forward to more recently, I've been involved with Tim Tackett and the Wednesday night group, Jeet Kune Do group, which has a great foundation. I've worked with first and second generation students that are affiliated with the Larry Hartzell, which was a great resource. And I have ranks in different phases in those categories. But one of the questions was, first of all, what my goals are. And as far as the martial art goals, each year I kind of have a similar goal where, I look at the different martial arts that I have, and those that are all Jeet Kune Do instructors kind of know this. You kind of have your Jeet Kune Do training and or ranking, but in order to get there, to be more well-versed in the multiple ranges, it's necessary for the individual to, get some additional training, whether it's traditional or more modernized foundations in some of the karate systems, especially branches off the Kempo and Kenpo karate. As well as the Gung Fu, with this foundation stemming off a lot of the Wing Chun Gung Fu, but also the Hung Gar Gung Fu and Choi Li Fat and Mantis styles, Tiger, Crane, etc., Monkey. And then also, a lot of us have foundations in the Taekwondo, just because we did it as a kid. And even though it's sport-based, it does have applications with the speed, agility, and the conditioning and the flexibility. And then on the ground game, initially Bruce Lee did a lot with the judo side with Jean LaBelle. And then also, it started it was popular in the 50s and 60s, even in the 70s. And then the shoot fighting kind of took a role at the Inosanto Academy, where it incorporates the Muay Thai plus the ground game of it as well, like Jiu-Jitsu and catch wrestling and judo. And a lot of us have backgrounds also in the prior, the original Jiu-Jitsu, which was more of a stand-up art than anything. If we remember, we got the Jiu-Jitsu started as a gentle art out of India from a monk. Then it kind of moved from there to Japan and Europe, and then it moved from there to, it transitioned from there into the judo sport as a branch off, incorporating more of the throws. And then eventually it worked its way in the early 1900s, 1920s to Brazil. And then from Brazil, the hybrid version is now what we know with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the States here. So I just tell you that because obviously all of us Jeet Kune Do practitioners have backgrounds and ranks in other systems. And that's part of my goals. My goal is to each year make sure that I'm progressing one level up in at least one martial arts. So even though I have a rank, say, in Jeet Kune Do and Filipino martial arts and Muay Thai, maybe I want to focus this year a little bit more on getting my next stripe in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Or 1 year to be, hey, I haven't had a rank in a while in my original Jiu-Jitsu system. I'm going to go with that, or the Kempo karate background, Kaji Kembo, those types of things. So I think that's a great goal for every martial artist. And Sifu Vunek alluded to this before. You don't want to be the instructor that spent 5 to 15 years in a martial art, got their black belt or instructorship, and then you continue to teach it for 20 years, what you learned, right, the first few years, and then say that I've been in the martial arts actively for 20 or 30 years. Well, you really haven't. You were active up until the point where you got your last rank, and then after you started teaching, all you're doing is you're regurgitating what you remember and what you learned from that system, but you're not progressing. That's not a progressive instructor. We don't want to be the person who spends X amount of years to get to a level and then never learn again. We want to be the instructor that gets to a certain level and realizes that, hey, I'm fairly decent at the compilation, but maybe I lack in the multiple range training. Maybe I lack in marksmanship and gun retention and quick draw and situational awareness or color code contact from Cooper. So we go back and review. We review. We take courses at gun ranges. We take courses at other martial arts seminars that focus maybe just on Filipino martial arts, or because of my background as a member of the Lipan Apache tribe of Texas, and I'm an Apache historian, I teach as a regular basis the Apache knife fighting and battle tactics. And for me, that's something I continue to learn, the history of various Apache tribes, and to incorporate that into our training applications from a battle tactic point of view. And then the next question would be, what kind of student am I looking for as an individual instructor? And I think that's true with all instructors. We want a good student that's going to be long-term. It's nice that we have new students fluctuating in, but we already know that the statistics, the majority of people never stick with martial arts for any given amount of time. Very few pass that third level or rank, whatever system it's in. It's those 1 to 5%ers that get up to that black belt or instructorship level in any martial arts, and then even a smaller percentage that actually continues it as a career to teach other people. With the whole scamdemic going on and so many closures of martial arts studios across the world, there's going to be a supply, there's going to be a demand for instructors again. A lot of people aren't going back into that field just because financially it doesn't make sense to them. But we have to keep make sure we're maintaining the quality of our instructions, and it may be harder for us to learn from other instructors because now there's less instructors out there or less active seminars because of the shutdowns. But it's our job to go and pursue it and find the instructors, even if we got to pay them for privates. So I'm looking for a student in all cases that is fully dedicated and fully committed, and part of that commitment is a financial commitment. People say, I'll take any student, but that's not true, because you're going to waste a lot of energy and a lot of time, and financially it's going to drain you if you're just offering discounts to every student. And if you're just giving free lessons, which a lot of people do, it's noble, it sounds great, but if you're going to treat it like a hobby, it's always going to pay like a hobby, meaning hobbies cost us money, they don't return money. We can't continue our training at the high levels unless we financially invest in it. If I wanted to do privates with some of my top instructors, some of them charge anywhere between $50 an hour on the lowest end, but most of them are in that $100 to $350 an hour rate. Same thing with seminars. Seminars might start at $100 for a seminar. They may go to $3,000 for a seminar. And if we want to continue that training, we need to let our students know that if you want to get the newest and greatest and the most innovative and the most collection of strategies for different ranges as a Jeet practitioner and instructor, I need you guys to help me out. We're a family, but you got to support your leaders within that family as well, your elders. So I let people know ahead of time, if you want to be a practitioner of Jeet Kune Do, and you want to make this a lifetime goal, it will cost you both in time commitment and in money commitment, because I encourage all my students, I said, you need to start from day one, just like you were taking let's say you want to be a medical profession person. You're going to have a collection of medical books. If you want to be a lawyer, you're going to have a collection of a library of law books. Some of these books are going to cost, $300 to $1,000 per book. Especially if you want to get some first editions and some collector's items, some hardbounds, and that's true with any profession. So I let students know you need to start accumulating a martial art library with the stuff applicable, and will help you reference stuff that you'll forget after a while. So start with Jeet Kune Do books, but you can digress and go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu books and Filipino martial art books. The Precies have some books out there that are great. Savate books, there's not as many out there. Some are in French. You got some that are in foreign languages, but in my library, I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars probably between all my stuff, but definitely thousands of dollars in my books in my library. And even if it's in a different language, a lot of them have pictorials and you can figure it out, or you can use the Google Translate on those. So I encourage students to invest in video libraries, whether it's VHS or DVD or downloads. Invest in books and magazines, and go to archives and get some classics and learn about the instructors and the instructor's instructor and the history of the art, as well as the applications and the techniques and the subtleties that we can learn a technique from 3 different instructors, but it may be that last instructor that it clicks with us and you make that connection better, which is how he verbalized it, or how he made a little nuanced step that actually makes it works more effective for you and your body and your abilities. And the last thing too, as far as one thing I never do is I never cut myself short. If you give the discounts, people expect it to be less of a quality. And if people are financially invested in a program, a learning program, they know that because they invested a higher amount, they're going to put that dedication in there. If you offer 10 people a free class and 10 people a paid class, I guarantee you the people that paid are going to be more dedicated. They're going to actually absorb the information. They're going to show up even. Most people, you give stuff for free, they don't show up. They, like 3 months goes by, you give them a 3-month membership, they came the first week and you never saw them again. So you wasted your entire energy on that first week with that person. You know, there's McDojos, as we refer to them, or clubs that just open up and they just want to get the new numbers in, just get a new member and just they market for that new person and keep refilling it with new people. But then you got the more quality ones, as Bruce Lee gave us the example. Bruce Lee gave us all the examples. He had small studios, he had small locations, even if it was out in the park. And I encourage all my martial art friends that are doing this, you know, I said anybody can be an instructor with good quality. You can have it at your local parks, you could have it in your backyard, you could have it, you know, in your garage. Sifu Vunek always talks about it. Don't sign a lease for $5,000 or $10,000 a month when you could spend $3,000 and convert your gym into mats and punching bags and a mukjong, and just do privates, semi-privates, and just spread them out throughout the weekend and then build up from there until you have a base of students. I'm fortunate enough to have a location in a cheaper real estate area, so I was able to buy the building in Oberlin, Kansas, and that worked out well for me, and I'm able to have that as my martial art museum and my training center and my video location. You know, so I encourage everybody, if you live in the city, find a very inexpensive shack or warehouse or studio or commercial lot, and you can afford usually something that's way out of town, and people are willing to drive for the seminars, and you have like a central location. And I tell people all the time, because they say, well, can I try this for free or can I watch a class? I said, no. I said, if you go to Harvard or Yale or any Ivy League school and say, hey, I'm thinking about your program, but I don't know if it's going to work for me. I don't know if you have good quality. You know, can you give me 3 months, the first quarter of free, free classes toward my degree? And if I like it after 3 months, maybe I'll join your university. No, they said, my reputation's already there. We're already established ourselves as an Ivy League school. In fact, there's a waiting list and an application process. You're going to pay for an application. You're going to be on a waiting list. And if we decide to choose you, you're going to be charged X amount, and you're going to take out big loans to go to those training centers. It's no different here. We're an Ivy League operation as the Contemporary Jeet Kune Do or Jeet Kune Do organization or affiliate. And we've already paid our dues. We paid the money into it. We've recognized, when it's been certified by the top people, these first and second generation Bruce Lee students that say, hey, this is a quality instruction. This is a quality school. I don't give out free lessons. I don't give out coupons. I don't say come for 3 months and get a free uniform. I say you're going to have to pay from day one. You're going to have to buy a uniform for, you know, the different styles that you're going to take. If you're going to take the set aside programs, because I got programs for, you know, the ground game. I got, you know, you're gonna buy a gi for the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. You're gonna buy a red uniform for the Kali Eskrima Arnis class. You're gonna buy a Savate outfit for the Savate class. You're gonna buy a Muay Thai shorts for the Muay Thai class and a t-shirt. You know, the list kind of goes on. Yes, the seminars are kind of casual wear and streetwear, and the Jeet Kune Do is more casual wear, but if they want to get individually ranked, that's what we kind of do. If they get their first rank in a ground, you know, let's say they get a first rank in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a first rank in Filipino stick and knife fighting, a first rank in Savate Boxe Francais, and a first rank in Kung Fu, then they know enough at that level to compile it together and put those puzzle pieces together and just do a quick test out for your first level in Jeet Kune Do. So people focus on different things. They want different things and they have different schedules, but we're looking for dedicated students. And you might have to teach several seminars and wait until you get enough seminars that you've talked to 100 people. You'll get one loyal student out of that. Unfortunately, I wish the percentage was higher, but if we're talking about a lifelong martial artist, you know, you got to do the numbers and do enough seminars and enough events and enough connections to find those true students. But they'll be your students and your family for life.